Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan battle video. In this video we are going to be taking a look at the Hacchan strength unit, or Android 8 as some people might know him as, or Eta, or I guess whichever one. But basically this is Hacchan. He's the strength version, not the AGL version, but I was interested to see how well he does underneath Goku, who's a 200% lead and also provides him with 50% support. Now Hacchan is an interesting unit. He has a medium chance of stunning, he can lower attack and defense, he's a 70% strength lead, but the most important thing about him is actually that he has two very interesting mechanics. Now he has guard, which is an incredibly powerful mechanic, and he has damage reduction, which is also a pretty powerful mechanic. So I'm interested to see to what levels or how he looks, how impressive he looks. I think for the most part he's a unit that could be very interesting, but I do think the World Tournament unit stats are going to be the biggest hindrance for this guy, unfortunately. But yeah, basically let's just take a look, see how good he is. Going to be trying him under the DB Saga team, and yeah, we're just going to see how well he does. He's only on 4 categories, so he's on DB Saga, Exploding Rage, Androids, and Bond of Friendship. So I think that's pretty good, considering Android 8's probably, I think, not the most widely dispersed unit in the history of the Dragon Ball series, although he's a very cool character. He's not necessarily on a lot of categories or in the show for a very long period of time. But yeah, he has attack of 150%, guards all attacks for 3 turns after receiving an attack, which is pretty clutch. Reduces damage received by 8% with each attack received, up to 40% in total, and has attack and defense of 120% when there's a Goku's family category ally on the team. It's nice that it's Goku's family, means that we don't have to try and run 1,000 different units or anything. You can actually literally just run Eta on the team, which is pretty cool. You can run Goku, Gohan, any unit really, which is nice because he's on Exploding Rage, which actually has some Goku options. But yeah, to cut a long story short, he looks pretty good. Decent attack stat to start off with. There is, I believe this Android 8 is at 55%, which is pretty nice. He's got 1 dupe. I can't remember off the bat, but not Rainbow or anything, which is pretty decent. Overall, 4 links active here. We don't have his 2 big defensive links, which would help him. Android Assault and Tough as Nails. Both very strong defensive links that he could be using. Tough as Nails is 20% defense and 5% damage reduction at max link level. Gentleman's also another 10% defense, and Android Assault's another 20% defense. So they do count a lot, but whether he's able to get all of them is really difficult for him on the categories he's on. There's literally no androids on DB Saga, Exploding Rage, or Bond of Friendship except for him, so that makes it difficult there. And he's on androids, but running a Goku on androids is incredibly difficult, incredibly difficult. So it does pose him some problems, unfortunately. But you can see he's doing pretty well. Stat-wise, 76k is not the highest defense in the world, but just to remember that he does also have built up 40% damage reduction as well, which is really good. To cut a long story short, 40% damage reduction is quite a lot. Actually, it's pretty decent. He's not gonna be able to tank red zone or anything like that with 40% damage reduction and 76k defense, but with guard and that active, he can do a decent job in a lot of content. So if you're someone who's looking for a different alternative to the AGL Hacchan, who's very good, this guy is kind of a pseudo replacement. You can run this Hacchan, the strength one, in a lot of content. Especially alongside Goku. You can run him in a lot. You can see here, like this is the only problem with getting guard after being attacked. Like he can take some damage here, and then boom, he's got guard again. 2.8 mil. We've seen a 3 million, 2.8 million. We've seen pretty decent attack stats, all being considered. I know a lot of people will say, oh, but look at like the free-to-play Yamcha hitting 3.3 million. World Tournament units aren't renowned for having the highest stats, so it is pretty good actually for a unit to have like this kind of level of offense. For a World Tournament unit, it's pretty impressive. And I actually think he's a suitable replacement for mid-tier content with Goku alongside him. I think you could see a pretty good unit. Now there is, I think, one way to run him alongside other units, and that is with one of the Gammas. So I believe Gamma 2 allows you to run movie heroes and androids, which is a way to get a Goku onto the team pretty easily. And you could then be able to run a unit that has Android Assault and has Tough as Nails alongside him. So you can reach the ability to run him very specifically under Gamma 2, which is pretty decent. Obviously, I think, you know, is it worth it to run that specific team just for Hacchan? Not necessarily, but it could be interesting to see how well he does, considering he links pretty decently with quite a few like Android units. I think if you look at, for example, the Android 16 and 18, they share Android Assault and Tough as Nails with him as well, which is pretty good. In terms of his links, Tough as Nails, Android Assault, he's got some pretty strong defensive ones, but obviously that's more Android orientated. Gentleman is pretty strong, but like I said, the only way to really get any of these activated at the same time is running him specifically on that Gamma 2 lead. The rest, Guidance of the Dragon Balls, Incredible Adventure, Sharing the Limits, are going to be a lot more common for you to get if you're looking at running him, just because of the nature of his categories and the team design and everything he's on. He gains a lot from link leveling, but the inability to activate all his links at once easily is a little bit difficult. He's got Tough as Nails, which is great, but you're not going to get that on a DB Saga team. And you've got obviously the Incredible Adventure, which is a great link, but also relatively difficult to get on those teams combined. But overall, pretty strong. Is he worth link leveling? I don't. World Tournament units with their low stats, I just don't think are necessarily worth it, to be quite honest with you. But I do think he's a fun alternative to run if you are looking for someone to replace STR Hacchan. Maybe you just picked up Goku, you're looking for a replacement, and I think Strength Hacchan is a pretty good pseudo replacement. So yeah, I would consider doing that and seeing how that goes. But beyond that, I think you should be more than fine with just looking at maybe running him as a pseudo replacement option. But otherwise, I think Strength Hacchan's pretty good for a World Tournament unit. I think he's pretty good. I like him a lot. I think he does a good job. And yeah, at the end of the day, I think, you know, for me at least, I think he does a good job. That's it. Let me know what you think, and bye.